So welcome to the Diversity Dialogue. I have three amazing guests on the show today. So first off, Leah McLean, who is a good friend and amazing cybersecurity executive. She is the VP of Development and Cybersecurity Programs at CFF, which is the Cyber Future Foundation, Startup Advisor, and many other things we'll get to. Welcome, Leah.
Thank you, Ashwin. It's good to be here with you guys.
And then we have Brian Chu, again, a past guest. Actually, I was a guest on his show. Okay. Yeah. Who's a cybersecurity intern at the CFF, is also at San Jose State, graduating soon, and has his own podcast. So welcome, Brian.
Hi, Ashwin. Great to have you.
And finally, we have Paul Rogers, a brand new guest who was introduced thanks to the amazing Naomi Buckwalter. He is a volunteer at the Cybersecurity, let me make sure I get this right, Gate Breakers, okay.
Yes.
Which is a nonprofit organization. He's also lead cybersecurity engineer at the Northrop Grumman. He's navigated his way from help desk to sysadmin and now is in cybersecurity. Welcome, Paul.
No, it's good to be here. Thanks for the invite.
All right, so let's get going. I think the broad topic is really about the myths and realities about breaking into cyber, and then what happens once you're in, and just talking about some of the attributes of what it takes to be successful in cybersecurity in general, right? So let's talk about the view from outside. And Brad, I'm going to put you on the spot over here, right? Which is you are breaking into cybersecurity, and you will very shortly, in knowing you. The question to you is, how does it look from your perspective, from as a somebody who wants to break in? What are some of the things that you are faced with, challenges, as well as what you see are great opportunities?
I think the main challenge for me is that as I'm still in school, there's a lot of things that you have to know outside of normal IT it's specific to cybersecurity. So when you are trying to enter cybersecurity, there's a lot of hurdles that you have to meet. And a lot of it has to come with independent studies and your own personal drive to get you to that point. Because when you're at work, not too many opportunities are you going to be taught. You have to learn yourself.
So Leah, expanding upon that, I know you Brian is a mentee of yours. You also have lots and lots of other mentees. What have you seen from their perspective in terms of what is it that they talk about, challenges they face, as well as obstacles they've overcome?
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of them, but the challenges, right? I think Brian touched on it a bit. Is if for example, I just talked to someone earlier today, a mentee that is finishing his master's in cybersecurity. He'll be done in December, and he had an internship at one of the cloud providers this past summer. And and I'm always curious too to hear from them in school to find out your curriculum and what he learned through his master's, and then going into the workforce for an internship. Was anything able to be applied? Were there things you still had to learn that you didn't get taught in school, and where were those gaps, right? And he said in school it's like the concepts and the theories that he learned very well, but it gives you just a foundation. It doesn't give you as much as you need when you go into the workforce and you realize a lot that you don't know, right? So I think that can be a struggle. And I think to Brian's point, and where if you are trying to break in, it can be very advantageous if you are taking that initiative to learn on the side, to figure out what other programs are out there and or workshops, et cetera, that are going to give you more hands-on experience, get your hands involved in actually using the technology, practicing with, breaking it, fixing it, a hack, et cetera. And then being able to demonstrate that as you're going through the interview process to say, no, I have had these skill sets in addition to my education. But it takes that person who's motivated, who recognizes that, who has, I think, a good group of mentors to help them in terms of deciding and giving them suggestions on where they can go to find that. And I hate to say it, but sometimes at a lower cost that they can afford, because not everyone, can afford all the higher prices. So that due diligence and an initiative on their own is key.
Well, so Paul, I know you've been in cybersecurity officially for what 4 months now, right now. Yeah. But then you've had a rich career in IT. So talk about, from your perspective, again, that unfair advantage that that Leah was just mentioning about. How has your career in tech helped you to kind of break into cyber number one? And then this follow-on question is again, while you were full-time doing IT, were you also picking up cybersecurity skills on the side?
Well, I think part of what it is, kind of going to go off of a little bit of what Leah was saying, is that it does take a lot of extra time.
Yeah.
I was fortunate enough to find companies who were able to either reimburse or pay for certifications and trainings to where I had to do outside of work. When I tell people the two biggest or three biggest things I look for in job interviews, I ask them their continuing education program, I ask them their health insurance, and I ask for salary. Salary is usually the last. Because if I want to be able to grow my career, I need to be able to know what kind of continuing education that they're going to provide. Because especially if someone coming out of college, most of the colleges or college students are broke and or have debt. So they're not going to be able to do a lot of those certifications and extra study. There's a ton of resources out there now, more than there definitely was 10 years ago when I graduated college. But as I went through my career, I made sure to take advantage of different companies that I was working for, their continuing education programs. Anything in IT, whether it's IT, systems administration, development, cybersecurity, you need to be one who wants to learn and continue to learn. You're going to get left behind if you don't. I met my wife in the IT department at the college I was at, and she was out of it for a couple years, and I would start talking about things and she wouldn't understand. So being able to continue, and then during IT, cybersecurity is one of those things that it's not just pen testing or it's not just engineering. It's actually spread through a lot of the different facets of IT. My main was, like I mentioned before, was help desk, and then up through systems administration, mostly with Red Hat, and then I moved over to cybersecurity. But usually you had the cybersecurity guys coming and telling you, hey, this needs fixed, or we need this done over here, and this system needs hardened, or hey, you need to help train this user to be able to understand. And so it was pretty pervasive. Sometimes it was annoying, having the cybersecurity or the security guys coming and telling you things that either I broke or I needed to fix, or some different things that were needing to be done. But the biggest thing I can say for people who are trying to break in to the field is continue to learn. There's a ton of free resources. There's a ton of people out there who are giving that now. If you have a company that has a good continuing education program, take advantage of it. Because I've known people, they're like, oh, you're getting so many certs and work for the same company. I'm like, you guys have this same opportunity, but they weren't willing to put in the work and the time to be able to do it.